Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of Brothers in Business. Today we're going to dive into the whole overnight success topic and whether it's true or whether it's false. Now, I personally believe overnight success is a complete fallacy. It doesn't exist. The amount of work that goes on behind closed doors is really what sets people apart. And so when the overnight success happens for individuals, whether it's usually it's quite visible in actors and singers and people in sort of the media and that Hollywood style. But I think people forget quite quickly how much work must have gone into the background for them to have achieved that overnight success. You know, some good examples are like Post Malone. He uploaded a song to SoundCloud and it just blew up. You know, White Iverson, absolute great song. I love Post Malone. But he didn't just upload a song to SoundCloud. He had to learn how to produce the song. He had to learn how to sing. He had to he had to write all the lyrics. I'm pretty sure he probably wrote and produced most of that himself. And even if he didn't, think about if he had to find someone to produce the lyrics for him. That's being resourceful. That's not an overnight success. You have to learn how to write a song or have somebody write a song for you. So this whole notion of, oh, Post Malone, yes, he blew up in a night or he blew up maybe over a small, period of time. But for the actual song to have done so well, the work leading up to it must have taken a long time.
Yeah, because it makes it easy for everyone else to just turn around and say, "Oh, well, look at him. Look how easy it was for him," and it makes it easy for somebody else to not have to put the work in themselves and just disregard somebody else. I mean, Justin Bieber's another example of someone else, which it looks and appears like they've just put, he's put a video up on YouTube. And it's just...
Do you remember it as well, his first video?
Was it one time the first one?
Can't
was that the first produced one?
It might have been his first
Ludacris
song.
Spotted him first, didn't it? I think. Is that the story?
Usher, wasn't it?
Oh, was it Usher?
Yeah.
Did he battle between the two? I can't remember. But I think he uploaded a small, videos of himself singing online where there was not much to it. And then, one of the two of them spotted him and then gave him that first song, which was One Time, which is like the most hated video on the whole. But again, the reason why people hated him was because he became an overnight success in their eyes, where in reality, he wasn't. He was singing, he was busking on the streets and things, wasn't he? I'm sure he was.
Yeah, absolutely. No, he took, his guitar. He'd obviously learned to sing in his bedroom. He'd learned to play the guitar. And if you watch him now, the lad can play the drums, he can sing, he can dance, he can play the guitar, he can play probably a multitude of other instruments. And trust me, coming from someone that's, tried to learn a few instruments and can play a few of them badly.
Me too, the drums. Phil Collins.
Badly again. Definitely badly. But it's true, the work that must go into that to be able to learn to play, even playing an instrument while singing is a skill in itself. And from such a young age, for him to have that ability to have taken his guitar, and not only just that, the confidence. And I think that's the thing that most people lack. Obviously, we sort of talk about the business side of things. And that is one of the most important facets of running a business or starting a business or being successful at anything you do, is taking that first step and just saying, well, what if? And it's such a beautiful notion of just asking that question, what if? And rather than let it actually deter you from doing something. Because most people, they have dreams. Most people think, what if? If I was to do that, what if I was to start that business, if I was to start that podcast, if I was to start or go traveling, if I was to do something, but then they just say, what if, and decide they never get round to doing it. How much regret would you live with for your whole life? Imagine Justin Bieber, he gets to the end of his, sounds a bit morbid, but he gets to the end of his days and he gets to the pearly gates if, there's a heaven, and he arrives there. And I think I remember hearing David Goggins say this, where, he arrives at the pearly gates and there's a list on the wall as you walk in, and he goes, goes, what's all these things wrote down on this list? And he was like, they're all the things that you could have done had you have thought about it, or had you have set your mind to actually making an action, or setting your mind to taking the action, sorry. And that's all that these overnight successes have done, really. They're just people that have had a dream and taken an action.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, it's also that they get to the next hurdle, which is Justin Bieber, using the same example. He's been the overnight success, but then he's uploaded the video, got an extreme amount of hate, and then he could literally have just given up as well and just said, you know what, I can't deal with this anymore. And again, to pursue through that, again, shows the dedication and the amount of just, drive that the guy's got.
What separates the people then that are making the decision to take action compared to those that aren't? What do you think it is?
I think character traits are massive. You know, you got to have something inside you that you want to prove someone wrong. I think if you've been down on your luck, I think if you've got nothing to lose, I think a lot of it is, wanting to be a better person, wanting to do better. I think that's a massive driver for a lot of people. I mean, for example, our dad, he had it all, but then lost it. And then he's got the drive where he's gone, you know what, I've had some of that success and I need it back, and I've got to work hard for it.
It's tough because I see it slightly differently. Obviously, I look at all these people and I try and find what is the sort of the golden ingredient that they all share, or the same characteristic that they all share, that forces them to either never give up, not quit, or stay true to their dreams. And I think it might be that the dream that they actually hold is burning that strongly inside them that nothing else will do. And I think a lot of people, unfortunately, they might not know what that is. And, it might be, I think it is a good message for everybody, because most people don't think about it. And I think everybody that's watching needs to spend more time thinking, what is your burning desire? What if? Ask yourself that question, what if? And if people get to a stage, hopefully at school, where they're lucky enough to find out or get that passion inside where they know exactly what they want to do, it makes the decision of sort of sticking to one path a lot easier. I know we never really found that until later in life. I mean, what were your dreams sort of at school? Did you have anything that you thought, this is what I want to do?
No, I mean, I'm like most people. You're going through school, again, touched on it before, not great at school. So you kind of just going through the days, grinding through, seeing your friends, doing what you do, and try and get the best grades you can. But there was no passion for any specific, lesson or something you were learning. And that didn't really happen until we joined the business. And, again, it wasn't instant, but after a bit of time where you kind of feel like you're part of the furniture and you're getting used to it and you enjoy it, and then you get to the point where you love it, that's where the passion comes from, and that's where the drive comes from, when you actually, I suppose, where all these people share a common trait, it is that they love what they do. So they love to do it, so they will continue to drive to do it. Cristiano Ronaldo loves football, so he does football. Justin Bieber loves to sing, so he sings, and it's just, he could have created a passion from something they love and then managed to monetize it.
You can find a passion though. It's something that I challenge everybody to do. So again, back to that point, have some time to yourself and really think about what you love to do. And don't just think of a profession either. Think about what strengths you might have as an individual, whether that's something that's burning inside you, whether you're a good communicator. You might be quite generous as a person, which could lead you to something sort of charitable. So have a think about what you're good at and what your strengths are and what you love doing just naturally, because people will try and force themselves into a position that they don't belong in. And I think that's when the questions and the dreams die. You stop asking what if, and you start joining the world of work usually, and you get a job that you don't love, and you stop caring about your own dreams, and you start caring about the paycheck, and you start caring about, small wins like going on holiday or buying a slightly better car or a slightly better watch or whatever you're into. And you stop caring about your own passions and your own dreams and what you're good at and what you can actually really share with the world. There are really big characters like Freddie Mercury, Elton John, some of these big rock and roll stars, the Beatles, Elvis Presley. Oasis, definitely an unbelievable band. But it's a really good point that for me now, these characters that stand out, they've brought something new to the world that no one's ever seen before. They're not doing it to be anything other than themselves. And I think if people spend more time understanding who they are as people and what they can share with the world, that's when they will find a lot more joy in their work and be able to give a lot more to a lot more people, because they won't find that it is work. They'll find that it's actually it's a pleasure, it's a passion for them.
Yeah, and it's keeping, and that's it. It's finding the passion, the things you love. And then it's keeping the discipline to stay on that track and not get distracted by, again, the overnight success nonsense that comes, whether it's a cryptocurrency, meme coin, which is like, what was it? Logan Paul had a disaster one. And
Is that a few?
And, you can get distracted by then people going, oh, well, if you take this course on my online YouTube channel and you'll be a millionaire and you'll do that. And they don't exist, these people. They have these overnight successes. They're the success of themselves, not so much the success you're going to get through following a course or following a coin or following this. It just, they're things that if you want to have a play around with, fair enough, but keep your focus on your one goal and your passion, and you'll be successful, not because of an overnight success, because they're just, unless you're winning the lottery, which,
not going to happen.
It just doesn't happen.
It makes the working easier though. It makes that sort of getting up in the morning so much easier and life more fulfilling, because you're doing something that you love. You're doing something that you were it sounds weird, but whether you believe in destiny or not, you're destined to do it. I would always firmly believe by looking at someone like Ed Sheeran that he was born to pick up a guitar and sing, and there are certain people like Elon Musk, he was born to be, an entrepreneur, but, an inventor, an engineer and a maker of things. And, could you imagine what his path could have looked like, or what all these people's paths could have looked like? You see a lot of videos of whether I think they hang out outside of football teams, and it's a big one at the minute. I saw the Villa team, so they asked the players, what would you be doing if you weren't a footballer? And a lot of them were saying, I work at Starbucks or something, which in contrast, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with working at Starbucks, but if you are working at Starbucks, going back to what I said earlier, think of what you are capable of, or what you could have been capable of had you have not given up on the dream. Had you not have allowed yourself to land in a position of working a 9 to 5, being miserable, filling your time up with crap that by all accounts isn't helping you push your dream forward. And then you are at Starbucks and you might even hate coffee and you're working somewhere that offers no fulfillment. To me, a life without fulfillment isn't really a life worth living.
Yeah, and the people get, and this is the main point now, like people get stuck in the rat race of just paying bills and doing this and doing that. And, the overnight successes are the things where they think, oh, that's a quick way I can try and make a bit of money. I'll put a football bet on and hopefully I can win 400 quid or lottery tickets, or like I say, some of these things I've touched on, because it's easy to do those things. It's difficult to put the work in and be not an overnight success, but just a long-term success. And it's small steps each day in the right direction, then compound over time to then be the person that you want to be and the success you want to be.
Love that. We've got a saying at work in our business, a culture of ours is that Kaizen approach, which is small daily steps of continuous improvement. And it becomes a lot easier to take those steps when you're doing something that you love. You know, for me, I'd say we found it in the business. You know, I love the idea of sort of business and growing a business, but I've got passions away from that. You know, like I said, whether it was sort of in sports or whether it was in music, but it's about trying loads of different things. You know, a lot of these people didn't just immediately fall into their passions. Some of them were lucky. And I think that's where it really separates the ultra successful, because they did find it so early on, you know, from birth, or I say from birth, but certainly from a young age. And don't worry if that's not you. You know, don't worry if you don't find it immediately, because obviously we didn't. And it can come to you. But I think if it hasn't yet, at least take the time to think about it and go back to the dreams that you were thinking of earlier. And then obviously try to find what that might be.
I think even on that point, KFC, wasn't it Colonel Sanders? Didn't he make all his money from like the age of 60 or something? Wasn't he?
Late 60s, yeah.
It's like, you know, it doesn't, age is just a number when it comes to these things. You know, it's just having the mindset and the right approach.
It was giving up for him though. I mean, for me, I think people don't realise how close they are to striking gold because they give up too early.
Well, and and McDonald's as well. I mean, they had success packaged within one restaurant, and then someone's come along and gone, he's done it in a bit of a dodgy way, but you know, he's looked at it and gone, well, you've got an absolute goldmine here.
Ray Kroc, yeah, it's a great story. It's a good film, actually. The Founder, if anybody's not seen The Founder, go and give that a watch, because it is an unbelievable film. And it talks about the entire McDonald's brothers methodology behind creating a business for 100% efficiency. You know, they reduced down the American diner menu, which had hamburgers, cheeseburgers, barbecue ribs, ice cream, chips, shakes, drinks. And they said, we're going to create fast food. And the idea of fast food was to limit a menu so that everybody has the same thing. Quality control is kept the same. And their business idea was to simply offer fast food. So at the moment an order was placed, they would receive their food within sort of a few minutes. But imagine how strange that would have been as a concept first time it would have landed, you know. Talk about overnight successes. You know, watching that film, you realize how little of an overnight success it is, because the work it took to, first of all, come up with the idea, and that I go back to is the what if. What if we did fast food? What if there was a way to give people their food within a few minutes of them placing an order? Now, if we had that conversation now and just said that would be a cool idea, imagine fast food, and then we just carried on about our day, did nothing about it, took no action, and just thought nothing of it ever again. You know, McDonald's would see it wouldn't have ever been made or created. And everything in life, whether you look at them as being successful in whatever capacity you see success, whether it's a sports star, an actor, a film star, an entrepreneur, they're nobody special. They're just simply people that asked what if and then decided to take action and put their idea into motion.
Agreed. Yeah, completely agreed. And, you know, it's what we've been doing since we've joined the company, but more so in the past couple of years. And by putting those things into action, that the company started to turn, well, massive corner. It was going in the right direction anyway, but it's gone in a really good direction. It's starting to push forward and really start to grow.
Yeah, so it's probably a good place to sort of wrap up on that one episode. So again, ask yourselves what if, because you never know what you could end up with. And life is a strange thing, you know, asking yourself what if and then taking action. You could change your life in a week if you wanted to, but just take the risk, because you never know. You might end up being the next founder of a McDonald's or the next superstar. So thanks very much for watching. I'm Tyler Barker.
I'm Cody Barker.
And this has been another episode of The Brothers in Business.